Some wild berries in the forest. Now, these berries have the name of Atropa belladonna. They're very, very dangerous because if you ingest these berries, you can die. If you rub the berry fruit on your hand or your wrist, you can suffer hallucinations.
But Taylor's daughter has good reason to believe that toxic berries are not responsible for her father's extraordinary sighting.
He was a gardener and a forester all his life, so he knew not to eat anything poisonous. He would never have eaten anything like that.
Police did have more than just Taylor's word for what happened that day. They also had a vital piece of tangible evidence under analysis: the torn trousers.
These are actually the trousers that Robert Taylor wore on that eventful day. Now, as you can see, this is a very heavy ripped tear on the left-hand side of these trousers. Now, these are heavy-duty material. This is actually police-issue trousers, and as we can see on the left-hand side of the trousers, we have another tear. The forensic report clearly states this was not made by any forest debris, sharp stones, sticks, barbed wire fencing.
Nobody, including the CID, could explain how those rips occurred.
It is my contention that these rips in these trousers were made by some device that attached itself to Robert Taylor's trousers, pulling them very, very forcibly upwards.
Taylor was left with no answer as to what had happened to him that day. And the mystery was one that locals also found difficult to accept.
Dad had a quite hard time for a wee while at Livingston because there was some people calling him various names and laughing at him. And he was beginning to wish he hadn't said anything to anybody at all about it.
But despite the name-calling, Bob Taylor's character was never in doubt, and he was considered by investigators as a reliable witness.
He does come over as a completely straight, down-to-earth man who had no reason to invent a story of this magnitude. What was to be gained from it?
His story never ever changed. He always stayed. Everything was exactly like the day he saw it.
He never once suggested that he may have imagined it. He firmly believed that he saw what he said he saw.
All this makes it one perplexing case, a case that still, at this point in time, is totally unexplained.
Bob Taylor's case strikes me as a really good example of a genuine eyewitness account of an inexplicable phenomenon.
Within Europe's UFO files, there are cases that defy explanation. Some phenomena are witnessed so often, they provoke debate among the science community and lead to decades of field research. The Hessdalen Valley, Norway. In the early 1980s, hundreds of UFOs are spotted flying over the landscape. Over a 2-year period, the objects dart across the skies more than 20 times a week. Newspaper reports say the locals are crazy, but witnesses are certain of what they've seen.
I see a bright light. It's start moving, and then faster, and gone. What it is, I have no idea.
And for one scientist, it is the beginning of a lifelong mission to unlock the mystery behind the Hessdalen UFOs.
My reaction when I saw it was more, wow. And I think, what could that be?
Arling Strand is a Norwegian technology expert. In 1982, he hears reports of strange events in Hessdalen, a remote 8-mile-long valley with just 200 residents.
I read about it in the newspapers, And some friends of mine also thought we should maybe go up there and try to see it for ourselves.
Locals are reporting strange, glowing objects flying at high speed through the valley. Johan Arvid Aspås, now age 76, was in bed when he first saw a UFO in 1982.
Så jeg hoppet ut i sengen og gikk bort til vinduet og så, og da får det et sånt lysende objekt ut i dala, da ute i Husum, sakte nordover, med kolossalt lys på.
UFOs had been sighted in the valley since the 1900s, but in the early 1980s they appear with alarming regularity.
What is, I think, interesting and important about this is the fact that these UFO sightings seem to happen on a regular basis. There are so many of them over so long a period of time. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of sightings.
Despite this frenzy of activity, the Norwegian press refused to believe the local stories.
The local people up there had all different reactions. Some was a little bit afraid. The most frustrating thing for the local inhabitant was all the bad talking. Journalists writing funny things about the people up there.
One national paper even played a practical joke on the town by sending them an unusual gift. But Professor Strand is keen to investigate. In September 1982, he gathers a group of young scientists and camps out in the cold valley.
The first time, I remember it very well, we didn't expect to see something. Of course, you have read about it in the newspaper.
Suddenly, the team are confronted with a spectacular sight.
There it showed up. A huge, bright light in the landscape. 10 to 50 meters above the ground. We estimated the size to be 3 meters.
Strand's colleague photographs the UFO to secure evidence of the sighting.
It moved around some distance, not so very far, stopped again, and went on for that for nearly 2 hours. My reaction when I saw it was more, wow, and I think, what could that be?
The group watch as the object hovers across the valley, until finally it disappears.
This is the first picture which was taken by this light, hovering just above the hillside.
The sighting, recorded in this photograph, triggers a lifetime of devotion to these mysterious aerial phenomena.
The start of Project Testdown was in the summer of '83. We prepared a field investigation. We collected instruments, we got help from universities and military to give us some instruments. And we had a lot of instruments going up there.
For his investigation to be taken seriously by fellow scientists, Professor Strand decides not to use the word UFO.
Whenever you use the word UFO, everyone is skeptical, especially the scientists. So we decided to change the word, use another word. So we came up with the Testdown phenomena, and that helped a lot in the scientific community.
Equipped with a small radar antenna, the team are staggered by the results.
There was a huge amount of sightings here in Testdown. You can be up to 20 observations during a week. We had the radar measuring this light traveling at 30,000 kilometers an hour, we could follow something which was not seen as a light, wasn't seen at all. So there is something up there which are present in the valley, even when we don't see anything.
Even when the phenomena are invisible to the human eye, they are detected by radar, moving at incredible speeds. But what are they? One of the many theories put forward is ball lightning.
Ball lightning is something that's not entirely understood in science. It is something that's been observed by a very wide number of very credible witnesses, and it does move around very fast. It can move at speeds of a few meters per second to a few hundreds of meters per second.
Atmospheres physicist Grant Allen has studied the Hessdalen photographs.
In the photographs we've seen over Hessdalen, it's a quite clear background night sky, so this doesn't look like ball lightning. Ball lightning, from eyewitness reports, tend to last from a few seconds to a few tens of seconds. They're quite short-lived phenomena that tend to dissipate quite quickly.
What